I just recently got 2 emails from customers that I gave proposals to last year, and I kept in touch with them, and they both said they went the wrong route and they would like to revisit a quote from us again.
Hey, Clean Nation, welcome to the show. Today we are talking with Sarah Landreman. This fine, amazing human started Emerson Cleaning Services in 2021, serving commercial clients. I've been getting some comments in the YouTube saying we want more stuff for selling to commercial clients or getting the prices we want. She is in Canandaigua, New York, which apparently to all of us not near there is the Finger Lakes region, which I've heard of. That other one sounded a little made up, but Sarah tends to be a truth teller, so I'm going to let it go. Just to give you guys a heads up, she's had a 30% increase this year in revenue. And we're recording this just the tail end of July. And she says July is going to be her biggest month ever. Reduced amount that she's cleaning, almost out, she says. And I yelled at her a little bit, gone from having to fill in all the time to not really. And the big focus that she said that she wants to talk about is, or what she kind of relates the growth in revenue, shockingly, is changing her focus from looking just to increase sales and growth to building more relationships. And again, I know on the commercial side, you guys have been having a lot of how do we get the right commercial clients at the right price on a consistent basis. For the people in my community, I think Sarah's an excellent example of clients doing that. So we figured we'd let her kind of share that in her own words. All right. That said, let's talk about some of the before, because everyone, we'll definitely talk about where you get, but where'd you start, how you got where you're at, and then we'll let you kind of end with however you want. But kind of start us with the before, how you were doing it, what it looked like, how it felt, why you didn't like it, and then we'll talk about how you made a switch.
Well, thanks for having me. I started this company only myself, cleaning, 100% cleaning, and started hiring. And I would bring on some people, and then if someone left, I would be filling in, and I was working a lot. I was cleaning probably at least 80% of the accounts, even when I was first bringing on some employees. And if someone quit or someone left, that was the time that I would post an ad and say, okay, looking for someone. And then in the meantime, I was filling in, but it takes time to fill in, but also time to train. So I was still cleaning and training, and I was getting burned out, and it was a lot. So I have had a huge shift, especially since working with you guys, and changing my mindset and learning some of the strategies. It's been a huge success.
Well, let's see if we can't get some of the listeners some of that same success. What strategies did you change, and what beliefs or mindsets did you change?
Well, I go back to my background is in occupational therapy, and being a therapist, working with patients, you have to build a rapport and relationships. I can't just walk into a patient's room and say, hey, we're going to do this and this and this. They're not going to be very open to working with you. You got to get to know them, ask them about their background. What do they do for a living? Things like that. And build that trust. And I would be able to perform a better therapy session. So that in itself, now that I'm out of that into the business world, it's the same thing. You can't just go into a business and say, I want to clean for you. This is why. And we're the best service. You have to get to know them. And once you build that relationship and that trust, you get word of mouth, you get solid communication. It's been amazing.
So let's talk about that. I'll just say it's funny. A lot of when it comes to commercial specifically, and I know we don't do as much content as you guys would like. So since Sarah's commercial and she's having such good success, we'll focus on commercial today. So funny what the big mistake people make on the commercial, there's several, and I'd love your feedback on this, Sarah. One, they use, I don't say typical marketing strategies, but marketing strategies that work for short-term buy cycles with lots of prospects. So local service ads or Facebook ads or cold calling or something like that, which if you're doing residential, which is a much shorter sales cycle, a lot of those things can be wildly effective, but you've got tens of thousands of prospects as opposed to, maybe hundreds or 1,000, right? There's just only so many, depending on the area you're in, there's only so many physical buildings you can have. So that's the first area. And the second thing is tags onto exactly what you said, Sarah, which is they just do stuff randomly. And the funny thing is consistency is hard work, but none of your competitors will knock it off, right? They won't steal it from you. That patience, right? So we kind of want to just be with the people, the tip of the iceberg that's poking out of the water, right? These people are the ones that raise their hand for an RFP or an RFQ, and that looks a lot like a cattle call with you and 9 other bidders and sharpen your pencil and all that sort of nonsense. And those are easy to get, but there's very few, and it's just one client with a dozen or so different customers wanting it. If you go below the surface of the water to the iceberg, the big part underneath, it reverses. There's just you and there's hundreds of clients. And the only difference between above and below the water line is below the water line are people that have a cleaning service that they may be happy with now, but they absolutely will be unhappy with them at some point in the next 12 months. So just because we have to wait for it, they may not be unhappy now, and it might not be tomorrow. It might be a month. It might be 6 months. It might be 9 months. And that stinks. We want this instant gratification of RFP. I can give a bid today and say I got it or don't say I got it, and that's what I want. If you're willing to just put in some patience, like Sarah said, and build a relationship with him, we'll talk about how to do that, or Sarah can talk about what she does. It's a pain in the neck because, we got to give up that instant gratification, but you move from one client with dozens of people wanting to work with them to dozens, maybe 100 or so of clients with, you're the only one that's going to be consistent in your area. I've coached in this space for a decade. Unless you've got one of our other clients that we worked with for a while, they'll do a call, they'll do they'll do one thing, it's very sporadic and they give up. So big mistakes people make, and then I'm going to turn over to Sarah what she's done specifically. I'm kind of giving the concepts, and then she'll give you what's actually worked for her. Is not that our concepts don't work, but kind of she'll put some beat on it for the exact way that she does it. But for us, it's been don't try and make a short sale for a long buy, right? That's just how commercial buy cycles are. B, be willing to be patient and look for the 100 people that are going to be unhappy in the next year, as opposed to the 0 to 2 people that might be unhappy right now and raise their hand. And then C, be really selective, right? If you're going to build relationships, because it does take time and money to do it right, or at least time can take money, but it for surely takes time. The more time you have, the less money you need, the less time you have, the more money you're going to want to put behind it, but it's going to take some combination. You want to be really selective, right? It's actually, believe it or not, people get scared of $5,000, $10,000 a month accounts. Believe it or not, once you do it right, they're easier to sell, because the chiropractor's got a 1,200 square foot deal that is $7 an hour front lady does the cleaning, or his wife or something. When you come in and I'm like, well, our minimum is $500. He's like, oh my God. He just doesn't understand the value. When there's someone that's a facilities manager replace that is replacing their $12,000 a month cleaner, they know the value. They know exactly what the cost is when that guy or gal doesn't show up or does a bad job. So, and not in every regard, but in many regards, they're just much easier to sell to. So if you're going to take the time and money to build a relationship, you have to be more selective, right? So those are the big mistakes. They try and do short-term marketing to just anyone that waves money at them. We encourage and coach to do what Sarah's talking about, which is long-term relationship, and be much more selective about who we're going to, we might only have time to build 50 or 100 relationships in a given year. But if those 50 or 100 relationships are all worth at least, $100,000 lifetime value, and say you've got 100 of those people and you only get 10% of those per month, you're going to add $1 million of lifetime value to your business every year. I know it went fast. Feel free to rewind 10 seconds, do the math, but I promise it pencils. If every client lifetime value is 100,000, you have 100 of them and you get 10% every year, which is easy. That means you build a relationship with 100 people, know, like, trust, you do all this cool stuff. 90 of them, even though they're going to be unhappy with their cleaner at some point in the year, still don't make the switch. Only 10 of the 100 that you build, it's wildly reasonable that's going to happen. You just have to be patient. Okay, I feel like I've done all the talking. Hopefully that it's a good foundation on why and whatever. Now, Sarah, let's put some meat on that. How have you, when you say I went from hyper-focused on growth, tell us what that looked and felt like and what you did and why you didn't like it, and how the switch to relationships, how you did that and how that's different.
Well, going back to what you said was I would go and, try to make a sale, and I would never follow up with them. They were just I would move on to the next person and the next person. And now any person that I have an interaction with or have a conversation with, I'm following up with them in one way, shape, or form. It could be once a month. It could be every 3-4 months, but I'm staying in contact with those people.
And is it phone? Is it email? Is it in person? Is it mail?
Yes, everything. Sometimes I stop in. Sometimes I just make a phone call or shoot an email and saying, hey, just letting you know, if you ever need us, we're here. It's about putting that face with the name and just, sometimes I make a little joke, something that so that our name, Emerson Cleaning Services, is going to stay in their back of their mind when that time comes, because eventually they're going to be unhappy with the cleaning service. And so when they get to that point of them making a change, my name pops up in their mind.
So I'm guessing there's a lot of listeners that are like, hey, I get it in my head. It makes sense. Follow up, but they probably won't go and take action. So what changed in your world where you went from, because it's not like before you were doing follow-up, you didn't know you should, but you just weren't able to do it. What moved you from kind of head knowledge to actual shoe leather, doing the work and actually building the relationships?
Well, your Dream 100. So when I was informed about this Dream 100, I was very overwhelmed, but I kept seeing some of the results that other people had. So I had to try it. And we would send out, 25, 50 mail outs that I haven't tried the stress one yet, but this one is the foot in the mail, where you send a foot, squishy stress relief foot in an envelope, sent to various businesses, and it's catchy.
With a letter, not just a foot can seem a little like a threat. There's a letter, there's some copy with a foot.
Yes. And it just says, hey, I'm just trying to get my foot in the door. And, it brings a little laugh. And again, they're going to remember that. But then after I send those out, I follow up about a week later. Most of the time I'm calling and saying, did you get my foot in the mail? And most of the time they say that they're happy with their cleaning service. And I said, that's fine. I'm not making a sale. I just want you to know that we're here if you need us, and keep us in mind if something changes. Some people, I've gotten people where I actually went and did a walkthrough, and I've made sales just through mailing out a foot. And even if I do a follow-up, I will follow up again. I'm sending out the stress ones. You have the where you kind of put your finger on it, and it's like, are you stressed or not?
The mood ring. It tells you based on the color. Yeah, it's a little test. Yeah.
And I'm going to be doing those next month, and that's another fun thing, right? You send a letter and stress, is your cleaning service stressing you out? And it's going to make them think, right? Kinda, they are. And they read the letter, and it puts an imprint in their mind. This person took time to send something to us. And I try to personalize them as much as I can. And also sometimes I stop in. I just go to the actual business and stop in and say, hey, I sent a foot. Did you get it? And the receptionist laughs and said, yeah. And I said, okay, I'm not sure if you have a cleaning service or if you're interested in one, but we're here. And most of the time they're like, oh, we're happy. I said, that's fine. Just keep our information. And I leave. But they're knowing who I am, and the name is getting out there.
So a couple of things. One, just want to tell everyone, the Dream 100 I got from Chet Holmes. He's got a book called, he's actually passed away, but he wrote a book called Ultimate Sales Machine, which is excellent. So I always want to give credit and not say that was my idea, because it wasn't, but we certainly teach it to our clients, and I've used it, and
Yes.
it's been very effective. So I just want to give you that. And the concept is just what we touched on a little earlier. You're going to make a list of actual human beings with their names and their phone number and their email address and their socials, and you will send them things or call, we help put together a little more formal plan, but you can do that on your own. Put together a plan of, if you really, really want to, one of the things Alex Hormozy says that I like is, what would you have to do to make it unreasonable for you not to hit your goal? And for me, I'd be like, if I somehow touched, whether I commented on something said on social media or sent them something or saw them at a industry event or invited them to a lunch and learn or invited them to one of our monthly parties or just once a week, texted them, like some can take 20 minutes, some could take, they don't have to take a lot. Once a week, it would be unreasonable for me to have 52 touches with 100 people over the span of a year and not have 10 of them say, why don't you just do my thing? It would just be unreasonable. So you don't have to go that crazy. And a lot of times that gets in the overwhelm. So number one, just make sure you've got the right people. And again, if all these people are, $100,000 relationship or more, it makes sense to be like, hey, I'll spend some time and effort. So one, that. Two, you need the mechanism of, we, for our clients, have copy and kind of fun things that's already done, and great. You can do that on your own, right? You can take some of the ideas, a foot in the door, hey, a little phone foot. Hey, I want to get my foot in the door, a little stress test. We send handcuffs. Do you feel trapped or handcuffed?
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah, I like that one too.
All sorts of cool stuff. So again, great. You can pay a copywriter, talk to us, figure it out on your own. And then you said another thing that was interesting, and I want to hit overwhelm. So that's where I'm kind of, because you said when we first started overwhelm, you talk about what you did. So I want to talk about that. But the last thing Sarah mentioned I want you guys to catch is a community, right? She said, I saw other people doing it. And then I was like, well, if it'll work for them, it'll work for me. So I just want to encourage you to focus on the Dream 100, some sort of plan of what I'm going to do and how to do it in a way that you won't get overwhelmed. Or I'd rather a plan that's not as good, maybe it's half as good, but you do 100% of it because you can do it, then the perfect
follow-up is key. That follow-up.
So again, like when you said, hey, sometimes it might be a month or two before I talk to Mike, we would coach you to it weekly, but I'd rather you actually follow through 11 times a year, 7 times a year than have a plan to follow through 30 times a year that just falls apart. Okay. So on that piece, because again, average plan, well executed, almost always beats the perfect plan, poorly executed. When you said you came in, you were overwhelmed. How did you get from overwhelmed to, well, I'm still doing my bit. I'm still getting some results. And I know if I did more, I'd get more results, but I'm getting results that make sense because you keep doing what you're doing. How did you move out of that overwhelm and into like, okay, this is a bite-sized piece for me that I can do and feel confident in?
Hey, Clean Nation, Mike Campion here. One of my least favorite things about these podcasts are we found that people love the show and they love the information, but when I talk to you guys in person, stuff doesn't get done. People love the podcast, but they don't take any action. If you'd like to actually implement this and get this done in your world, we have a whole team of people that do exactly that. If you go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, you can book a time with either myself personally or one of our teammates to at least help you come up with a plan to actually implement and change your life. So if you want to go from getting these good ideas in your head to getting them in your life, just book a free call with myself or my team, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. And we can go from this one-to-many format to one-to-one and really get you some results. Excited to talk.
Well, I think a lot of it goes with, for me, I love to say, trust the process and that mindset. I'm going to circle back to you saying how, you want that instant gratification, and being patient and learning that changing my mindset that I have to be patient. And a great example of that is, most of the time they don't like my pricing. They always go with the lowest company. I just recently got 2 emails from customers that I gave proposals to last year, and I kept in touch with them. And they both said they went the wrong route and they would like to revisit a quote from us again. Huge win. And being patient, following up, I will get these 2 accounts. So I'm excited about that. And I'm saying I will, not I hope to. I'm planning on getting them.
And there's really 2 pieces. Well, there's lots of pieces, but there's 2 I want to highlight, Sarah. One, she kind of casually mentioned it, and I don't want you guys to miss. What most people do is, what I hear a lot is, my prices are too high. I have to be unprofitable. I can't get that much. Did you hear what Sarah said? She's like, they didn't like my prices, so I just moved on with my life. And her energy was super like, well, that was just that. Like, she didn't go because two people complained about my price. I revamped my whole pricing for everybody or started rethinking my whole model. She just said they weren't it, right? Second thing is she kept following up. And again, I'm guessing at the time, certainly if they're price sensitive, it wasn't Sarah's price and one other price. There might have been 4 or 5 other prices, but I would bet money they're not calling all those people back. They're probably calling Sarah either alone or maybe one other person. So the two pieces are, one, it's okay if people say no to your price. It doesn't have to mean,
Yes.
That would be like me dating one girl who's like, you're not tall enough. And me going, well, I guess I'll never get married because every girl ever wants tall men or taller men than I am. Or I just go, well, I'm 6 foot. Apparently some girls want taller, but I'll bet you there's enough other women that my height is just fine. So I love the energy of that price didn't work for them. We could look at how do we set up the price and how do we market? There's things we could have done and how we communicated it. But I like the energy of, well, that just wasn't a fit for them at that time. And then they're proving now at that time being the real key thing. And the best, Sarah could have sold her little pants off going, but they're going to do a bad job and we'll do a good job and you're going to be miserable. And it's, you'll like better our price and actually getting the problem solved. Or she could just let them sit with the low price solution for 6 months. And then they come back and go, you know what? We found that the low price, that's the best sales pitch ever, is for them to go kind of discover on their own.
A couple years ago, I think I would have really beat myself up and been like, oh, like I really wanted to get that account and things like that. But now I do. I just kind of move on, and I have full faith and trust in my pricing. And because of that, I still have 5 of my original accounts from when I first started.
That's beautiful. So they either are $100,000 lifetime value or are going to be, they can't be well on their way. Because that's the beautiful thing about commercial cleaning is it's harder to sell them for sure. Like, sometimes our commercial people probably look at our residential as like, hey, I got 23 new clients this month. And they're like, wow, I got 3 this quarter. But, those might be $400 a month. They might stay a year, maybe 2, maybe 3 or 4. Sometimes they'll stay 10 or 20, but it's unusual. Commercial client, you might pick up a little $2,500 a month, not a little, but a decent size, little $2-3 grand, type deal. And 17 years later, here we are. And, if it costs you $1,000 to get that client in 9 months, you can do the math pretty quick and go, yeah, I can afford that. Okay. I got one more kind of specific question. I'm going to let you end with just giving the audience whatever value you see fit. I really want to hit, because the way that and I love it. I'm not knocking it. I like it. I'm pretty organized, and I tend to make a better plan and then not fall through because it's too high of a standard. The way you're communicating sounds very laissez-faire, right? Like, might be a month, might be 2. I do my best. I do a mailer, I do this. And, that makes me crazy and want to claw my eyes out, but it's being super effective. And it's more important. It's equally important that it's working for the clients and it's working for you personally. So how did you get to, because there's always an infinite amount, right? You could always do more. There's never like,
always.
So how did you get to the point where you decide enough's enough and where it works for you? And obviously you're getting a result, because if it wasn't getting results, it's like, well, now you're just wasting your time. You need more, but you are getting results. Like a 30% growth isn't, year over year, you do that for 10 years, you're retired. So it's not nothing, but it's in a way that, from what you're telling you, feels good for you. Doesn't feel overwhelming. Doesn't feel. So yeah. How do you decide what you do and how you feel good about it?
Mostly because I needed to have a little bit of a life myself. And my name is in the community, and everywhere I go, I run into someone, and I'm passing out cards, and I'm doing a lot of networking along with the foot mail outs and other things. And it's all working. And if it works, I'm sticking with it right now. And I have 3 walkthroughs next week And I have one of my Dream 100s that I've been following up with for the last month and a half. We're having coffee again next Monday to go over the proposal again. They haven't made a decision, so I'm meeting them for coffee. So it's been long and drawn out, but it really is. It's just that patience and trusting the process and getting your name out there. It's really fun.
Beautiful. Well, if you would, we'll finish with this. If you could give, just because, again, we get the audience we have here so much larger than the people we're able to, physically serve as clients. And I always try to squeeze as much value to the clients and like, all right, how can I get that in the 1 to many? So if you don't mind just sharing first, just the 1 to 3 biggest things, whether change in behavior or change of belief, that help create the business that you want. So that's first. And then second, just anything that you feel would be of value to Cleaning Nation from your years of experience.
Biggest shift was my mindset. Believing that I can get this company to where I want it to go.
And how did that happen? How did you go from kind of not believing to believing?
Seeing the results.
For yourself or in the community or both?
Both.
Because in your own, it's kind of hard to, because you're like, so community, I get. If you hang out with other people that are winning and they're doing things that you feel you can do, it's pretty easy math to go, well, if I just do what she does, she's not smarter than me, I'll probably get the same results as she got.
Right.
So that part I get. But seeing the results in yourself is a little chicken and the egg, because it's hard to do the work before you get the results. But once you get the results, it's easier to do the work. So how did you change your belief enough to get the initial result?
Oh, that's a tough question. Changing my belief. I think it just goes back to holding myself accountable and knowing that other businesses in the area aren't putting in the work and doing and using the systems that I'm doing, and knowing that and just believing that I'm going to have the best cleaning business in the area.
Okay. So the first big shift was, and if there's more you can share, if that was it, that's fine. And then I'll give you the open thing, but kind of top 3 big beliefs or changes you made. One was just belief that you could do it. Any other big ones that made sense to you that would be of value to the listeners?
The system of the hiring process, I know we didn't touch base on that. The hiring funnel has been instrumental, getting core value employees in and getting them trained and getting them involved in the decision making, and just executing pretty much everything that I've learned.
And what made you go from not able to execute to execute? How did you kind of make that shift, and what were able to, because before did you not know before and therefore couldn't execute, or did you know and could, like, I'm always trying to get changes so people can be like, all right, you can do that.
I was shooting from the hip before. I was doing what another person that was kind of a mentor to me was doing. I was all over the place, unorganized, and didn't have any systems in place. And you have to have the systems. You have to have, they're like priceless. They're just priceless, because those systems are allowing me not to clean, or very little. And, when someone quits, I got someone to go right into that role. The marketing is working. And I just got a great team, and I believe in the team, and it's taking care of your employees, customers, following up with them. I give them a gift every year that they're with us. Every 1-year anniversary, they get a gift. Following up, making sure that they're happy. It's all of it. It's just amazing. And kudos to your program.
Well, thank you very much. I love this on our program. But all right, last thing then, what wide open, just anything that because you're doing great, you're growing, you've got a nice sized company, you're getting the lifestyle that you want, to someone that's kind of not there and maybe either stuck or having to work too much, or they're focused still on the growth and not doing the relationship. Just give any feedback that you think would be of value.
Making sure that you block out time for yourself and have a life. It's key. I was working 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and kind of getting burned out with cleaning even. Even now, I shut down at 6 p.m. and the next morning I'm ready to go. I'm not tired from working until 9 p.m. It's, just taking care of yourself and trusting the process. Really. It's,
How would you do that? Because I'm just trying to advocate for the people listening going, yeah, I know, trust me. I hate, whether it's working in the business with cleaning or in the business with just in the office all the time. I hate going bell to bell, 6 to 6, 5, 6, 7 days a week, but I don't know how to get out of it. Like, what would you say to that guy or gal?
Well, you have to have employees, solid employees that are core value, that are going to stick with you, and paying them well, treating them well, and doing quarterly reviews, and making sure you have a solid training process. And for me, not cleaning has been huge. The key has been the hiring funnel. I'm constantly hiring, even before I have any openings. I let them know I don't have an opening right now, but I'll get you trained in the next couple of weeks. And by then I'll have an account to be able to push you into. And that in itself, I had to fire someone last week, and I had 2 people that I was able to shift right into those roles right away. 2 years ago, I would be cleaning them for probably 2 or 3 weeks before I found someone to fill it.
Yeah, that's a big difference. All right. Well, Awesome. I really appreciate, again, this is Sarah Landreman from Emerson Cleaning. Appreciate you coming on and sharing what you've learned and what you're doing and what's working for you. Cleaning Nation, if you need anything, feel free to reach out, whatever, here, Instagram, email, we got your back. But appreciate your time and attention. Hopefully you got some value. Hit us with a comment. Let us know how we can, what you want to hear and how we can serve you better. And we'll do our best. Talk soon. See ya.
Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge, and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it, and we sure appreciate your time and attention.